This was the last day of my pregnancy. I was elated to be getting ready to go and have my baby. I took photos, I did some videos which are on my camera. I spoke to my baby and told her how much I was looking forward to seeing her. I was only 38 weeks and 3 days pregnant, but my OBGYN, I decided that we would do an induction or induced labor because she was not gaining weight. She was low weight. So she decided that she would take her. I didn't tell many persons. So it was actually a scheduled induction that I was supposed to have. So in the evening, I went to the hospital to get the process started. This is the next day. I'm at the hospital waiting for the labor to begin. I was being tested over and over again, or being checked, and they noticed that the baby's heartbeat was fluctuating. At some points it was low, then high, low. So I was being monitored. I was being monitored closely. After I didn't want to do the epidural, but after speaking with the doctor, she suggested that I get it because the physician was available at that time. So I decided to get the epidural. It was a scary moment because he had to stick me several times before he could actually find the right spot. And I'm telling you, I was scared the whole time. But thanks be to God, he eventually found it. As soon as the epidural was activated, my doctor approached me and asked me what I thought about doing an emergency C-section, seeing that the baby's heart rate was fluctuating. I didn't think twice. I looked at my husband. I know he didn't want me to do surgery, but I didn't think twice. I just told her, yes, go ahead. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take the chance. I'm not going to reach here and lose my baby. So I told her, yes, we could go ahead. I was brought to the theater and the procedure began. I didn't feel scared or anything. The only thing I didn't like was the fact that I could not feel my lower body. And because I knew how many times he had stuck me, I kind of worried a bit about that. But in a few minutes, my baby was out. The doctor then realized that the umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck. So she said that was the culprit. That's why her heart rate kept fluctuating. When I saw her, I got emotional because I thought she was so small, but she was the cutest little button I'd ever seen. That was the first comment the nurses made. They were like, oh my goodness, she's so cute. Look at her mouth. When I actually touched her and felt her, I got emotional. A little tear ran from my eyes. And I was a bit worried because she was so small, but they assured me that she was fine, and I was just grateful to God that it was over and my baby was here with me. I was just reflecting on all the journey that we had gone through, but I was so happy to meet my baby girl. The surgery went so easy. It was just easy. The only thing I remember when they were stitching me back up, I remember the doctor said, Donna, your strong abdominal walls are giving us problems here. And I think they did something to stretch it because even now I can feel that area and it's so tender sometimes. But I just give God thanks that it went so well. There were no complications. I felt it was a scary feeling not being able to feel my legs. But I was just grateful to God when I started feeling. I kept moving my toes until I could feel them again. Here I am in recovery room. I just, like I said, I kept moving because I was like, I got to move. I have to move. This is where I was able to hold her for the first time. It was such a beautiful feeling. I was a bit worried because they had tested her and said that her blood sugar level was low. So they asked me to try and breastfeed her to try to Immediately as she was placed on the breast, she knew what to do. She just clutched it, no problem. No one had to help her or help me to put her on the breast. She was just good the very first time. And one of the nurses commented, she said, "Oh, you're one of the smart ones." There's Daddy holding her. He was just looking at her. When I asked him, I said, "Who does she look like?" He said, "Me." I was like, "Okay, I'm happy." I'm just kidding. Yeah, but he was happy to meet his baby girl. He got annoyed at me for keep saying, "She's so tiny. She's so tiny." I couldn't help saying it because she was the tiniest baby I'd ever had. Because of her low birth weight, they decided to put her in NICU to try and get her blood sugar level up. I was sad about it, but at the same time, I had to agree to what was in her best interest. They didn't want her to use her energy to pull on the breast to get food. So they placed her in NICU and gave her close attention. And then because I'd done the C-section, so she was taken away from me. I was a bit sad about that. But it forced me to walk soon because by the next morning, I just got up out of bed, got ready, and walked up there. When the doctor came back, she was like, "Donnie, did you see your baby?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Oh, they wheeled you up there?" I said, "No, I walked up there." She was like, "What?" I said, "Yes, I needed to see my baby." Of course, I took timely steps, but I got up there and I got back. So by the next morning, I was up and about walking around, although I'd done a C-section. I knew I didn't have anyone to be there for me like that because it was during COVID time. Nobody could come. So I had to make sure that I was strong. And I wanted to walk so quickly too because I'd gotten so many sticks from while they were doing the epidural that I had to make sure that I was walking. So I got the willpower and I was up and about from the very next day. I actually walked out of that hospital. I would make sure that I get up there for all of her feeding, for her feeding schedule. I remember at one point the nurse told me, she said, "You don't have to come for every schedule," because it was a good distance that I would walk to and fro 3-4 times for the day. And she told me that's okay. So we actually stayed in the hospital for 3 days. We were officially released on the Monday. So I'd gone in the Saturday and we were released on the Monday. But because of the blood sugar level issue, they wanted me to stay overnight with her to see if she would be able to maintain her blood sugar level. So we stayed in a special section where I was responsible for her. And she was able to maintain it. So we got to leave on the Tuesday. We came home Tuesday. And like I said before, I walked out of that hospital as straight as a stick. And with strength and energy. And every day I just thank God. I just thank God. There is little Miss Diamond in her car seat ready to go home. And Big Brother was the one who came to the hospital to pick us up. There he is with her. He has not met her as yet. He has not seen her as yet. Because if it was COVID time, the only person who was allowed to come in the hospital to visit me was Dwayne. Yeah, so he's going to meet her for the first time. Why? Say now, what me look at meet your little sister, Diamond. Diamond, meet your brother, Daniel. She look a bit... She's so get big. She's so... Come on. Diamond, you're home. What are you hiding? Look at her eyes. You're home, Diamond. You have hiccup? Lord, thank you for taking us home safely.